Brother Kadash want to start off by giving our praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Kadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders. Peace, blessings, honors to all the brothers in this truth. Speaking on the elders, that's what gave me the ideal. I was listening on a video. I didn't know anything about this, and I had learned this. What we're about to go into. So I'm gonna name. The title of this lesson is going to be named this has all been planned, or on the lines of that. Pretty much this has been planned from the beginning, something like that, right? So I was listening in on the apostle video. It probably was like maybe a week or a couple weeks ago. I was watching a video, and Apostle Tahar actually, and he was speaking about this, and this is called The Economist. So I guess it's like a little like a magazine or something like that, or like an article or everything like that. And this is like the cover of it, right? And one of the things that it had on it is the bird rising out the fire, which we know today that's called like the phoenix, right? And it says get ready for a world currency. But we already know, and we're going to get Revelations 13 too. We already know going to Revelations 13, that's their whole system. That's a part of their whole system, which is going to be, they call them CBDCs, central bank digital currencies today. And you have the whole thing going on with the recent news that the apostle also came out with. Is Jamaica is going, pretty much coming up with a CBDC. I think they actually already have it, and they're already implementing it already right now. So if you're in Jamaica, you could buy the CBDCs, or either they already passed the law for it and they're about to come with the ability to be able to run their economy that way, right? But this is on the Economist, right? And it says get ready for a world currency. Now the phoenix, right, represents the phoenix rising out of the fire. So it's like when all hell breaks loose, right? And the nukes, you have the fire, you have the second death of the world, which is going to come by fire and brimstone, which we know that's by the way of nuclear wars, nuclear missiles, right? They think and believe that they're going to raise out of that fire, and they're going to be able to complete a whole new world order and have rulership and power over the earth. But little do they know, which they do know actually, but they think they could do something about it, right? That's why they have their whole space force. And that's why when you get to Revelation chapter 12, they're actually going to fight against the Lord, because they think they're going to raise out of the second death by fire and brimstone, like a phoenix rising out of fire. They think they're going to subdue the Lord. It says that in 2 Ezra chapter 13, that they're going to try to subdue the Lord. They think they're going to subdue the Lord, keep the Israelites, keep the so-called Negroes, Native Americans, and Latinos in slavery, right? And be able to keep rulership on earth. That's what they think. So at the bottom of the phoenix feet, you have fiat currency, which is like paper currency, which is notes, right? That's really not backed by anything today. But you see it on fire. So you see the fire, the fiat currency, the paper, the cash, right, is actually on fire. And it's saying get ready for a world currency. Why? Because they're going to get rid of the coin that's around his neck. They're going to get rid of the money, the fiat paper currency, and they're going to come with the CBDCs, which is the central bank digital currency. They're going to come with digital currencies. And I like how I always like to say, right? Well, two things. First, this shows you that this has been planned. This is the Economist, and this was put up, if you look right in the left-hand corner, right, it says January 1988. It's very small. You may not be able to see it. Let me see if I can zoom in. Right there, January 1988. And that's why I was naming this title, This Has All Been Planned. Because even from back then, things don't just come by the way of just out of nowhere. So this whole new world order, they've been planning it, and they've been taking steps, getting closer and closer. That's what we're seeing today. We're seeing them take steps. They're doing it in phases. That's why it seemed like it's tarrying, but it's not. That's why it seemed like it's taking so long, because they're doing it by phases and steps, rather than just going on with it, but they're about to press the button and get this thing rolling even more, because they done already went through the phases, the necessary phases that they need in order to actually try to give their best attempt at it, even though they're going to be unsuccessful. That's why it says in the book of what is that, second address, is that 16? It's either 16 or 15, and it speaks about like when the Lord comes back. It's like a here, let me see if I can find it real quick. I think it's 16. Yeah, verse, second address 16, verse 38. As a woman with a child in the 9th month, bringing forth her son, with 2 or 3 hours in her birth, great pains compass her womb, which pains when the child cometh forth, they slack not a moment. So it's just like a woman, and it speaks about it in different precepts in the Bible too. So it's just like a woman when she's gonna have a child, she's having those contractions, and they're getting worse and worse and worse until the baby is born, until the Lord comes back in this case. So the same thing with Esau. Like the closer that he gets to his kingdom, he's doing phases and phases, and these phases are getting worse and worse and worse, because his goal is to collapse the economy, to bring down the old system and come back up with the new system, which we call today the New World Order, or the beast system, whichever way you want it, right? So they think that they're actually going to succeed, but that's only because the Lord is putting in their hearts to believe that. So let's start off with Psalm chapter 10, then I'm going to get into some more. Verse 1, it says, "Why standest thou afar off, O Lord? Why hideth thyself in the time of trouble?" Right? And you're going to have Jacob's trouble, right? Jeremiah 30. It says, "And the wicked in his pride does persecute the poor. Let them be taken in the devices that they have imagined." What's one of the devices that they have imagined? Well, we call it the MOTB. Can't really speak too much on it, but the MOTB that's a device that they have imagined too. And that's going to be the temptation, because in order to be part of this whole new world order that they're going to come with, you're going to have to trade, meaning you're going to have to buy and sell by digital currency. But I can't just think of a digital currency just nowhere, out of nowhere, just think of a digital currency and buy something with it. So you need a device you need some type of device, some type of technology in order to use this digital currency. Right now, you could use your phone, which has a chip in it, right? Or you could use a credit card, which has a chip in it. But they're going to go even farther, and they're going to put the chip in you. And that's what you're going to use in order to be a part of this whole digital currency, in order to be able to buy or sell with this whole digital currency. You see what I'm saying? Like, what's Bitcoin? If there's a blackout, how can you use your Bitcoin? You can't get on the internet. There's a blackout. How you going to use your Bitcoin? Yeah, but with these chips in you, then you can still be able to use it. But they may bring down the economy, and then they're planning on bringing it back up with this whole new world order, So that's why I said this has all been planned. Let's keep going. It says, "For the wicked boasteth of his heart's desire, and blesses the covetousness, who the Lord hearteth," right? So he's boasting of his heart desire. Even from 1988, even farther back before that, they've been boasting of their heart's desire, which is to merge humans with AI technology, robots, right? To merge humans with the internet, digital. The internet of all things. That's their heart's desire. That's what their new world order, that's where everything's leading to. That's what Bitcoin is leading to, pointing to. That's what the collapse in inflation is pointing to. That's what the famines are pointing to. That's where the new technology, they trying to create, you could do your own research on this. They're trying to create an Iron Man suit. That's where this is leading to. That's what the whole what's this thing called, Skynet, with Elon Musk. I may have it wrong. You can correct me in the comments if I got the actual name of it wrong. But I think it's like Skynet or something like that, with the satellites that they're launching up into the sky. That's what this is leading to. Ain't nobody using that right now. What is called Neuralink or something like that. Ain't nobody using it right now, but they have those satellites in the sky because they're going to use that in the future, in the very, very, very close future. They have a big plan with those satellites. That's why they're allowing him. For you to launch satellites into orbit, you have to be in bed with the government. He's 100% controlled by the government. He's just another faceman. And they're allowing that to go down because they have plans on using that. And guess what? Guess what? I believe is going to be one of the main things is going to be hooked up to that Skynet or Neuralink or whatever it's called, right? It's going to be the MOTB. So you can already see them putting the system in play. Remember when the whole thing happened on the Earth and they had the 5G towers going up? That's what everything is pointing to, the MOTB. You can see it. You know, the coin shortages. You know, jobs from home. The what's that? The Oculus. I done made videos about that, but really it's just a virtual reality glasses and set. The Neuralink or the Neuro chip that Elon Musk is trying to put in your brain. But not just him, we use him, but it's many different companies that's trying to do this. You know? So this is what this is leading to. All this is leading to, man. The whole electric cars and everything. If you can't put all these pieces together and see where they're trying to lead this new system, then you're just blind. You know, verse 4, the wicked through his pride of his countenance will not seek after God. God is not in all his thoughts. So he's not seeking after the Lord's way. He's trying to make his own kingdom on earth. He's trying to get his birthright back carnally, you know, and it's through that pride. And it's the wicked that's doing it, you know. Let's jump to who's the wicked, right? This is 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, right? Straight to the point, verse 3. Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come except there come a falling away first. And there's going to be a major falling away because people are going to be tested with the MOTB. We're going to get that one next, right? It says, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition, which is the wicked. He's going to be revealed for all the wicked things he's doing, man, to be the wicked that he is, you know. It says, who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called God. That's why he believed that he can make you choose. Really, it's the Lord's plan. He's the one that's coming with the MOTB, right, in order to test you, right. It says, or that is worship, right, so that he as God sitteth in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God. And like if you go type in Jesus or you go type in God on the internet, a certain person or a certain man or image is going to pop up, and that's the image of the wicked, you know, which we call the Caucasians today, or we call them the Edomites today. Right, so they're showing themselves. They're saying, look, we are God. This is how God looked. This is how the angels look. This is how Moses looked. This is how John looked. This is how Apostle Paul looked. Right, and they're saying, look, we don't want to follow God because, like it said in Psalm chapter 10, through much pride. So they like, look, man, we lost our birthright, and the Bible says that, but we're going to get our birthright back, and we're going to build our own kingdom, and we're going to subdue the Lord when he comes back. That's their mind frame. It tells you that in second Ezra chapter 13. Did they subdue? They went to go. A great multitude went, roughly paraphrasing, went to go try to subdue the man that was coming out to sea. Right now, you could be able to understand Revelation 13 when you get to it. Straight to the point, verse 15. And he had power to give life into the image of the beast, the whole system. Right? It says that the image of the beast should both speak. It's speaking to us. And they finna put it into play and cause that as many as will not worship the image of the beast should be killed. Right? And where do we read about that at? We read about that in Revelation chapter 3. Right? Verse 10. But the Lord said he gonna save us from that temptation. Verse 10. Because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world and try them that dwell upon the earth. Right, the hour of temptation, which is going to be the MOTB, mixed with, you know, a lot of different things. But the main thing is MOTB. You got Jacob's trouble, you know, but the MOTB is going to be the biggest temptation on earth. because you're going to have to make a choice, and that choice is going to be so hard because of this. Verse 16, and he calls of all, both small, great, rich, and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man may buy or sell. So this has to be a literal mark, because you're going to be, it has something to do with you either buying or selling, literally. Save he that had the mark or the number of the beast or the number of his name, which all goes together, because when it verse 18 talks about 666, which is the patent. You could see, you could do your research on the patent of these things, and the internet, the worldwide, what's it called, the World Wide Web, www, which you could trace it back into your research. It goes back to 666, so it's all coming together now, that you're going to have to take this, and this is going to be a part of their new world system. And they already had this plan, man. They've been having this plan. But if you just open your eyes, then you could see what they're trying to complete, what they're trying to accomplish. You could see what their future is already speaking. They're already pointing to, this is what we want the future to be. But they know they have to do it in phases, like we said earlier, in order to get the people to accept it, And they understand that it already says in the Bible that pretty much this is a wicked thing. And the Lord is against this, because it tells you that in Revelation 14, starting at verse 8 or verse 9 and 10, it tells you the punishment if you take the mark, right? So they know that it's wicked because there's a punishment if you take the mark, and this is how they're opposing themselves above God, showing themselves to be a God and opposing themselves to God, because they're trying to get the world to do something wicked. Rather than saying, look, don't take the MOTB. We ain't going to come up with no chip, because the Lord we already understand in the Bible that this is wickedness. And there's a punishment for it. So they going to go against the Lord and say, look, we going to come with it anyways, but the Lord is putting that spirit on them. Right? Just like the Lord is going to put the spirit on them to fight when he comes back, and they're going to be utterly destroyed for it. Right? So now let me take you here. Real quick. I want to show you something. Okay, so I remember watching this movie back in the day. It was X-Men Apocalypse, right? Which is funny, right? But we all know that the Apocalypse really stands for the character, or whatever, stands for Yahawashi. It's a play on Yahawashi. I mean, just read it. Look what it say. Worship as a god since the dawn of civilization, which Yahawashi is a god, and he's the first, right? He was created by the Lord. It tells you that in Colossians chapter 1. And then by him, everything else was created. It says the immortal. What does that sound like? 1 Corinthians 15, right? Apocalypse becomes the first and most powerful mutant. What does that sound like? Revelation chapter 1. Yahawashi say, look, he's the end in the beginning. The Alpha and the Omega. So it's just a play. They're just showing you that pretty much it's just a play on the Lord Yahawashi in this movie X-Men Apocalypse. But they're boasting of their heart's desire to defeat him and overcome him, just like they did in this movie, right? It says, awakening after thousands of years. What did Yahawashi say? He was going to come back in the third day, right? It says he recruits the disheartened Magneto, right? It says, and the other mutants, right? Which is just a play on the Israelites, the mutants, the Israelites. Because we're going to be what? We're going to get that power too. It tells you about that in Revelation chapter 2, that the Lord is going to give us the same power that he got of the Father. And we're going to have that spiritual power too. And we're going to get those new bodies. We're going to be changing the twinkling of an eye, like we already quoted 1 Corinthians chapter 15. Right? And the other mutants to create a new world order. Because Yahawashi is creating a new world order too. It's called the kingdom. But it's going to be a new rulership under the Lord and his joint heirs to the kingdom, which are the Israelites. It says, as the fate of the earth hang in balance, right? Professor X and Raven, right? And then it goes on, and it says young X-Men to stop their seemingly invincible nemesis from destroying mankind. Because what's Yahawashi coming back to do? It's called the second death. He's going to destroy the wicked. And then going to Obadiah chapter 1, all of the wicked eventually is going to be destroyed. Right? So it's just a play on the Bible. It's just somebody that went in the Bible, that read the Bible, that kind of has a little bit of knowledge on understanding the Bible, putting those ideals into a movie, right? And but one of the major things that I've seen about this movie, I ain't gonna be able to find it for you or play it for you because they have the copyright things. But in this movie, right, you had at the end, they was talking about the phoenix rising out of the fire, right? So here, let me see if I can find it. All right, I'm back. I ain't gonna be able to play it for you, but you can see it right here, X-Men Apocalypse, and you could go watch it yourself. Jean Grey, she's the Phoenix, right? And she was the one that killed them, that destroyed them, and it represents the Phoenix rising out of the fire. So it takes us all the way back. Let me pause it. Takes us all the way back to the Economist, right? So it's showing you they've been boasting of their heart's desire. This has all been planned, as you can see from this 1988, and they still putting it in their movies, just kind of boasting of their heart's desire is to. They already know all the destruction. They can't stop the destruction from coming. They know that it's going to come, but their plan is to overcome it and rise out of the destruction and have their new world order and have rulership over the earth. That's why they have Space Force to fight against the Lord. That's why they have Space Force. That's why they you have Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, NASA, and all these different companies so focused on building spaceships to get to Mars, because they're going to try to run. They're going to run in their bunkers. They're going to run under the seas. They're going to run in space. And then that's when you get to Revelations 12, that the Lord pretty much going to cast them out of the skies. He going to cast them down, man. He going to destroy all that shit, all that Neuralink or all those satellites, all that shit going to be destroyed, man. All those space stations are going to come down. There's not going to be planes and helicopters and jets that's ruled by or run by Esau that's going to be flying around. All that shit's going to come down to the earth and be destroyed, man. All their satellites, all that junk. I mean, this shit needs to be clean, man. It needs to be cleansed, because all those junk satellites out there just floating around, all that shit is going to be destroyed and burnt up when the Lord comes back, man. But that's their plan. Like, okay, we could have a breakaway civilization, right? We could go to Mars. The world gonna be destroyed. They know about nuclear warfare, and then they could come back down. You see that in the movie. It's a show on Netflix. Oh, I forgot the name of it. It's called the It's something by numbers. It's like the 1100 or the 100 or something like that, man. But that's one of the things. They went up into space. Earth was like destroyed by nuclear. It was destroyed by nuclear warfare, actually, because it had radiation. And then they came back down, and they kind of had to be careful and test to make sure that it wasn't too much radiation for them to survive. And they got out the spaceship. They had cast down the unwanted and the undesirables that they had in prison. They sent them down to the earth first. And when they got out the spaceships, they was able to breathe. And they was like, oh, okay, so we can actually live. We can breathe. But they had lost communication, so they couldn't communicate that back to the breakaway civilization. Esau puts this in all his movies because that's his heart's desire. That's what he plans on doing, man. That's why it's such a big push we got to go to Mars. We got to spend all this money, develop these spaceships to go to Mars. But the shit's not going to work. Right? Just like the movie 2012. Esau put it out there to say, look, this is how we would have survived the Great Flood. Because that was the first death. But Esau knows that the second death is going to come by fire and brimstone. He knows that the elites that's really running stuff, they know the Bible. They study it. They know it. And if they don't, then they're watching the prophets today. Getting the understanding. Right? Now let's jump to... let's leave it right here. Matthew's 24. Popular. Very, very, very popular precept. Chapter, actually. Right? Let me see, because I want to get it somewhere else where I don't usually get it. Let's just say verse 21, right? For then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, no, nor ever shall be. We read about that in Daniel chapter 12. We read about that in Jeremiah chapter 30 with Jacob's trouble, right? We read about that in 2nd Esdras chapter 16. We read about that in Revelation chapter 12. But that's what the Phoenix represent. That great tribulation is going to raise out of that great tribulation. They believe they're going to come out of that great tribulation, out of that fire. It says, except those days should be shortened, there should be no flesh saved. But for the elect's sake, those days should be shortened. Why? Because, man, when that World War III gets to popping off, all hell, tribulation, shit hits the fan, those nukes get to popping off, which we're very close, man. Like, we could be months away from that. Years, or months away from that. We see the whole thing that's going on with Russia, China, Ukraine, Iran, Israel, America, NATO. This thing finna pop off, man. We doing our job. It says that if any man shall say unto you, lo, here is Mashiach, or there, believe it not. That's going to come when shit hits the fan. You're going to have motherfuckers out there, kind of like the movie, The Book of Eli. All hell, it ain't going to be no law on the street, man. So just imagine that. You're going to pretty much have a world like the movie Mad Max. Right? Now, jumping down, right? Verse 29. It says, immediately after tribulation of those days shall the sun be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light, and the stars shall fall from heaven, and the powers of the heavens shall be shaken. That's that nuclear fire, man. And they believe they're going to be able to escape the destruction. They believe they're going to be able to escape the second death by fire and brimstone. And then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven, right? And then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn, and they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory, the angels, right? And he shall send his angels with a great sound in of a trumpet, and they shall gather together his elect from the four winds, from one end of heaven to the other, right? And his elect is who? The Israelites. This is right there. This is a prophecy. This is what's going to happen, right? So, I want to keep jumping down, just get some key points. Verse 37. But as the days of Noah were, so also shall the coming of the Son of Man be. For as in the day that they were before the flood, they were eating and drinking and marrying and giving into marriage. They show you that in that movie 2012. And to the day that Noah entered into the ark and knew not until the flood came and took them away, so also shall the coming of the Son of the Man be. So Esau said, look, we going to do something about this. We going to rise out of that fire like a phoenix. Right? It says, then shall two be in the field, and one shall be taken and the other be left. Right? Here, let me see what else. That's it on that, but that's what Esau said. He said, look, we going to do something. We going to prepare for it. Right? But really, the whole time, it's the Lord that's putting it in their hearts to do this, so prophecy of the MOTB could be fulfilled. So prophecy of World War III could be fulfilled. So prophecy of America, Mystery Babylon being destroyed by nuclear fire, nuclear missiles could be fulfilled. So the elect being saved could be fulfilled. So the joint heirs to the kingdom actually inheriting the kingdom could all be fulfilled. So all they doing is just playing a role, man. So this has been planned. But really it's all been the Lord's plan. So with that, I'm going to say salvation to the elect. Shalom.